Hey everyone, welcome to this video that is a little bit unusual for me. So today we are going to draw some cards, do a little bit of a pick a card for people who have just failed, for the losers out there, because I think in our society we are way too focused on the winners, we are way too focused on the people who achieve, who succeed, who win in life. But the majority of people doesn't win. If there's one person who wins, there's probably 100 who don't win. So in this case, what I want to do is to just give you guys 3 piles of cards, and you can choose any one. I'm going to draw 3 cards for each pile, and then I'm going to put the timestamps below so that you can jump ahead. This video is essentially for you if you have just failed at something, if you have just not gotten a job, if you have just not gotten a role, if you're an actor, if you have just released a book and nobody's buying it, if you have just started a business and nobody is buying anything from you, all of these things. And these cards are going to give you some insight into how you can deal with that failure, how you can move on, what your next steps can be. And the reason I'm making this a pick a card, which I don't usually do, is because I simply think that we at the core are all able to see that there's certain patterns that repeat themselves in this human existence, meaning that this can apply to you. You know, I usually don't do pick a cards for something like love readings or anything like that, because then people project too much, people worry too much, people get upset about it. But I think with this, what we can do here, what our chance is to really just take inspiration from it. That's what I want you to do. And the first thing that I want you to do is to pick one of the 3 piles. You can also stop the video, you can reflect on it, look at them, look at what appeals to you, and then I'm going to put the timestamps here for the different piles, and we can see what we see. Just look in the comments or in the description box, that's where the timestamps are, and then we're going to get started. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3. So let us start with pile number 1. I'm going to reveal all of the cards first. Wow, okay. We have some very strong, the first thing I thought was, oh, it's all court cards. And then I realized, oh, no, she's not a court card, but she kind of has that court card look. So what we have here is the Knight of Cups, upright. Then we have the 9 of Pentacles, upright. And we have the King of Swords, reversed. So I think the first 2 cards are really a huge praise for whatever you did that did not work out, where you failed. So with the Knight of Cups here, you could think about how it made you emotionally brave to do what you did, and how it emotionally also affected others and gave to others. And that, of course, also raises the question, is it really a failure if you emotionally inspired other people? I think that's very, very important here, that you brought your raw and your honest emotions into this endeavor that you had. And it probably inspired others. It probably made others think, man, maybe I could try something like this too. And even though you feel like you failed or whatever happened, you didn't get what you wanted, it didn't work out the way you envisioned it, you still inspired others, and you can also inspire yourself and the way you emotionally handled all of this. And then the second card, you know, the 9 of Pentacles, that is really a huge, huge reminder to think about how you succeeded in the past and the far, far path that you've come. Because we have this woman here who is walking through her garden, And it's really a time of reflection. The nines in tarot are always a time of reflection on all the things that you have achieved. In this case, in the Pentacles, this could be monetary success, it could be financial success, it could be success relating to your body, to your health. There's so many things that you stick to and that you succeed in and that you are consistent with. Think about those things. What are you consistent with, and how can you give yourself credit for that? And also, what have you achieved already? So here we have this question: how did you emotionally inspire yourself and others through the task? Then here we have the theme of all the things that you've already achieved that you can think about. What have you already done in your life? What are you actually consistent with? What bears fruit in your life? And then lastly, we have the King of Swords reversed. And I think this card is really telling you to watch your negative self-talk and to make sure that you do not cut yourself with that sword that you should be using to cut off things that don't matter to you, to cut off people maybe that are negative for you. This sword isn't for you in this case. It's not. So don't talk yourself down. Don't tell yourself that you fucked up, that you're bad at all of this, or that you're not meant to achieve what you were trying to achieve. Just try again, try again. See that putting yourself out there bravely and already being consistent with a lot of things, those are the important things about this failure. Don't use this failure to show yourself your worthlessness or your lack of value. Thank you so much for watching Group 1. We're going to move on to Group 2 now. So let's reveal the cards for Group 2. Ace of Wands reversed, the Empress, and the Queen of Swords. So with the Ace of Wands reversed, what I'm getting is that maybe you were chasing after an idea, you were trying to bring something into reality that was a really big creative thing for you. You thought this was the next big thing. You thought this is the creative idea that will get you over, that will, that everyone will love, all of these things maybe. And then it didn't work out. which happens, it's fine. And I think what the Ace of Wands reversed is really reminding you of here is that sometimes you don't have to just focus on one single thing, on one single egg that you put all of your hopes into, but rather to broaden your perspective. And the Empress is definitely a reminder to see your worth and see your value as inherent and not make it dependent on this one thing that you didn't succeed in. Maybe the idea wasn't as creative as you thought. Maybe people weren't into the idea as much as you thought or expected them to be. And that is okay. With this Empress card in the Major Arcana here, we really have this reminder that even if you fail, you are still in your fullness. You still have a lot to give. You still have a lot of ideas that you are metaphorically pregnant with and that you can bring into this world. And I think that is very meaningful here with the Empress, because she's not just the card of sensuality, of the physical realm, but also a card of being in your fullness creatively and being self-confident in your own creative capability. So I think that is meaningful for you at this time. And I would also say to make sure that you engage in self-care. The Ace of Wands is really asking you to think about, how is this affecting me? Is this failure affecting me in a way where I'm doubting my own creativity, where I'm doubting myself, where I'm doubting that I can have any good ideas? And then in moving on to the Empress, we have this idea of, no, you're still worthy, you're still valuable, you're still in your fullness, and you can give birth to new ideas from that fullness. And then with the Queen of Swords, we really have this idea of bravery coming in. This idea of falling off the horse and getting right back on it rather than indulging too much. Yes, we do have an aspect of self-care with the Empress, a little bit of a consolation that you can give yourself. But then we have the Queen of Swords as a very powerful reminder that you are able to bring those ideas into life, and that you should be brave enough to speak up, to speak your truth, to really just do what feels right to you, and to keep on dishing out these creative ideas that you have within you in your fullness. And as you are imparting those ideas onto the world, you will be able to get recognition, you will be able to get respected for the things you say, for the things you do. And it is also a little bit of a reminder that maybe, since this project was a very creative, fast-moving project, maybe it's time to take it a little bit slower and more logical and plan things out a bit more, because that is what the Queen of Swords is also about. She protects her heart, she protects her creativity, and doesn't outwardly put that out there, but rather she plans, she kind of has a logical mindset when it comes to emotions and when it comes to creativity. So those are the things you can think about. And yeah, thank you, group 2, for watching. We are going to move on to group 3 now. Here we go. Let me reveal the cards. 2 of Cups reversed, the Sun reversed, and 5 of Wands reversed. Now, out of the 3 groups, I can definitely tell that this one is the one where the most I feel blocked energy is, where the most lack of consciousness is when it comes to this failure. Maybe you have some resistances to it, maybe you don't really want to look into what went wrong, and that's understandable. So with the 2 of Cups here, we definitely have this feeling, with the 2 of Cups reversed especially, we have this feeling of maybe either you weren't quite one with a person that you were working with or with yourself. So think about this project, this idea, this thing that failed. Think about how the failure had something to do with a lack of unity. Especially since we also have the 5 of Wands coming up as the 3rd card, we have this lack of unity, this lack of alignment. Were you really aligned? Were you really open to whatever you were trying to do with this project, with this idea that you had that failed, with this game that you played that failed, with a sports event, anything? You know, this isn't just about business or anything. This can also be about relationships. It can be any failure. So think about how there was a lack of unity and a lack of alignment, and think about how you can change that in the future. How can you make sure that the next thing you attempt is going to be more in alignment with what you really want and with what you are good at, rather than trying to force yourself into something. Because with the Sun reversed here as well, we have this idea of a lack of consciousness of your own skills, of your own talents, of your own capabilities, and your own tolerance, essentially. So think about how you can really become more present with those skills that you have, with those ideas that you have, and really align your skill set with whatever you're trying to do, and your tendencies, your preferences, aligning those with what you're trying to do. Think about that, because since we have the Sun reversed, it looks like maybe what you attempted to do had a lot to do with you trying to outwardly display something that you are not actually like. You are not actually like this, but you are trying to display it outwardly in order to either satisfy others or in order to seem, like you are in control, or in order to hide your true identity from people, to hide your authenticity from people. All of this could be related to the reversed Sun. So think about that. Think about how this project just wasn't really aligned with you. And then with the 5 of Wands reversed, once again, we have this idea of creating unity. That the answer is not going to be to fight within yourself or to fight with other people in order to resolve this, but rather to take some time for yourself, align yourself. Think about what you really want. Think about what you want creatively. Think about what you want in love for your life. And then make a move that is actually based on your authentic self rather than trying to satisfy others or creating a union that doesn't have to, that, you know, doesn't have any basis essentially, because you are basing it on a version of yourself that isn't authentic. So yes, those are the messages that the cards have for you. That's what you can think about. Thank you so much for watching as well, Group 3. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you were thinking as I was talking about all of this, and if you want me to do more pick-a-cards like this, remember you're awesome, remember you're great, you can do this, and I will see you very, very soon.